Okay, we are going on with our panel discussion over here. 2 more steps to go. Next on the panel, we will have Patrick Müller from Siemens Energy. I learned. It's not Siemens anymore. It is Siemens, not Siemens Marine. It's Siemens Energy. Good. Okay, from Siemens Energy, he is the business owner over there. But it doesn't mean that Siemens is your company, right?
Nearly,
yes. Okay. Business owner at Siemens Energy for 1 year right now. But I think this is because of the renaming. Then he was product manager for automation and digitalization at Siemens Marine before for 8 years. Lead engineer for Siemens hardware power management application. And interesting for me was he was special engineer power management at Siemens Marine and responsible for the AIDA Sphinx class. So whenever you are on a cruise ship, think about this guy. Good. So the stage is yours. We are interested to hear a bit more about the EcoMain suite from Siemens Marine.
Yes, thank you, Florian. Think about an AIDA vessel only if the light is on. If the light is off, the power management may have a small problem, and I'm not responsible anymore. Okay, thank you for the introduction, Florian. First, what I would like to say is, or to ask is, okay, what has Siemens to do with navigation? At all, nothing. So then second question, why I'm here? I could say Mr. Rudolph has invited me, but it's a little bit too easy. No, I would like to show you a little bit the connectivity between the navigational side of our business and the machinery side of our business, and what digitalization can do already and could do in the future. So that's more or less nothing out of the box, so don't ask me how much does it cost, could you install this on board on the vessel. Most of these things are my dreams or my ideas, what we can do together and what we can develop to future shipping industry and to make things more reliability or make what we have in our mission and vision context to address the decarbonization or the sustainability targets of your companies. And that's exactly what we would like to do to helping you to be successful in these areas. To deliver a little bit context, what is EcoMain Suite? I make it quick, because I think that's here not really so deeply interesting. But what we do, quite simple, we gather information on board on the vessel, each and everything, typical wise from machinery, that's our home turf, but we're also interfacing navigational system, loading computers, etc. So everything what is already installed on the vessel, and put them into one consolidated database. Reason for that is we would like to use the data to deliver exactly these benefits which I mentioned earlier to help you in the daily business, to make daily business easier or to be successful in, for example, increasing your performance of your vessel, or to help you in the daily business by analyzing your data. We have as well a cloud system. We are not using AWS, we are typically wise using Azure, but in the end of the day, it's a cloud infrastructure. Cloud infrastructure, to make it simple, is a computer which stands anywhere in the world. Cloud is not unsecured. Cloud delivers a lot of benefit to be more secured than you have your own data center. Think about if you have your own data center, you are responsible for the whole security part of this installation. if you're using cloud infrastructure delivered from AWS or from Azure. It will be done from a professional company which knows how to secure such equipment. Yeah, there we are also streaming the data from the different vessels into the cloud. That's private cloud, I have to say. Private cloud means you only have access to your data. Not your competition, not Siemens, not any other vendor. It's your data. And that's, in our perspective, very important to know. We are not owning your data. We are delivering the platform. We're delivering software which you can use with your data, but your data is your data, like your vessel is your vessel in the end of the day. What we do in the cloud is we use the information to compare vessels, to increase as well the performance of your fleet. We're also using this platform for a remote diagnostic system, which my colleagues are presenting in the foyer. The HoloLens, in the end of the day, that's using the same infrastructure, and I think that's a good demonstration today to show you what is possible with digitalization. And in the end of the day, we developed such system to support our equipment, but as well you can use it for any purpose. Somebody asked me this morning, we have the same presentation or a similar presentation this morning on board on the small vessel here in the Hamburg Harbor. Is this also possible to use it for medicine purpose? Yes, for sure. If the connectivity is there, for sure. The doctor on shoreside can help the crew with medical problems on board on vessels. Why not? What we also have in the cloud is interfaces to other data sources that we also enrich the data from your vessels with data from other vendors like harbor information, logistic informations, weather informations, partner information from Chartwood, for example. It's also possible to interface this information with the information we have in our system. Okay. Now I start my presentation at the end of the day. That was the title, Collaborative Voyage Planning, Engine Performance and Navigation. What does it mean? First question I raised up, what could digitalization help? I heard a lot of, as well, my speaker in front of me are also very digital. Yes, that's digitalization. But could this help? And for what? That's more or less the next two questions. Do we really need that? And for which purpose we need it? Electronic logbook? Yeah, cool. It's electronic. That was unfair. But again, and I like electronic logbooks. By the way, we have it also in our system, but I don't want to mention it here. The question is something different, not so cool like from Ration Anschutz. But the question is really, did we really need such tools? We are sailing vessels since decades without such tools. What is the purpose for that? Why? It's always a why. For example?
Yeah, that's one of the main goals, and then to have the all logs properly recorded.
Wait.
I like
can you tell it again, because the people in the live stream, they have no idea what you told here.
Yeah, maybe I would like to stay a little bit on the side of the people who sailed before. You're right, yeah. If you cannot find the purpose of the digitalization, you have to prove it. But I think the previous speaker clearly said what is the purpose of this, and I fully support him. Then the mistake which people make usually, you during the filling up, during the storing, archiving, then recovering of the data if it's necessary. A lot of things can, going on behind. So yeah, logbooks are needed and digital will be helpful. Just because you pointed, why do we need digital logbooks? And this is like a question, answer to a question. Yeah?
Very good. Thank you for that. But I a little bit disagree. Because if you are talking with your boss, I hope you are not the boss of your company, and it makes no sense what I said. But in the end of the day, if you go to your boss and say, hey, I would like to buy electronic logbook from Ration Anschutz, and because my crew has a lot of help. What did your boss answer? Well, thank you, great idea. What is the benefit? There's nothing with... In the end of the day, there's nothing without money. Money making. And I agree then to you, yes, that's help of the crew. The crew load, the workload will go down. And in the end of the day, you save maybe 1 people on board. It's not necessary to run around and collect all the values for the logbooks and write it into the paper. Because we can automate that. And that's, in the end of the day, the benefit. The real benefit, in my perspective. That's my personal view at the end of the day. Okay, digitalization. Digitalization could deliver transparency. Most of the people, typically wise, say no. We have already transparency. We have a lot of equipment on board, automation system, navigation system, blah, 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 a lot of system, a lot of information, and I have transparency. And I ask you, okay, how many hours you need to run around on your vessel, collect all information, sit in your office and say, now I have transparency. You have the propulsion power from 1 hour left, the vessel position from maybe yesterday because who has no fun to go to the bridge, etc. So the data are not comparable. If you have the data in one place, and in one place that you are able to compare values with the same timestamp, that's important. And then you get transparency. Then you can compare things. Otherwise, you compare apples with pines. And we are typically-wise looking into machinery data, but if we make a plus and navigational information, then exactly what I already explained, then we have the transparency that you really know what is happening on board on the vessel. I see a lot of question marks. Later on. Okay. Another perspective of digitalization together with navigational information. To get a holistic optimization, again, you need both sides of your vessel. You need systems which are optimizing your machinery part. For example, here, that's an application which optimizes the fuel consumption of your energy production system. And if you compare this again with navigation information, you get not only an optimized route and a safe route, right? A safe route. You get this also together and linked with your engine. I know each route optimization software have a propulsion curve, how much power is needed for a certain torque or certain speed of the vessel. But that's a curve, design curve, typical wise from tank tests or wherever create these curves. But is this really the situation of the engine, of your plant? Or is that something different? Did you have breakdowns in your engine? Is your propulsion only partly available? Etc., etc., etc. If you compare now both words, optimization of your propulsion system or of your machinery, together with route optimization, I think you get in my point of view, a holistic optimization, so an overarching optimization of the whole asset, of the whole voyage, of the whole system vessel. Another thing is compliance. So in my word, I'm not sure if this are also something which you are dealing with, but EEOI, Energy Efficiency Operational Indicator, or CII, Carbon Intensity Indicator, are things which you have to report day by day, more or less. And what we are doing, we do it vice versa. For route optimization, you have a roughly curve of the propulsion power needed. And for these things, we have in the machinery side a roughly idea of what the vessel will do the next days. So that's also, from my point of view, not a realistic reporting. If you combine both things in real time, then you have a real report, and all these things could also be automated, that the route in the end of the day is the master of everything, that we can plan with digitalization tools up in front of sailing, which time you need which fuel, exactly when you have to switch over to low sulfur fuel, etc., and make the proper reporting as well completely automated. Don't use people who are adding things into a paper. Use ration hunches, e-log features to do it automatically. In the end of the day, the data, the informations are there. It's for me only a question to use it. Okay, that's things which are already there. So that's not rocket science. I think if we connect to each other, we can feed the information into Ration Anschutz logbook. We can create reports, we can optimize, we can work together with Chartword, make route optimization plus to take as well the machinery into account. But that's things, the things are already there. So if you ask me later on today, we can make business out of that directly at the end of the day. But we would like to talk also a little bit about the future. What's next? Is this everything? And then I heard in the industry a real nice buzzword, autonomy. So how to operate a vessel autonomy. It's like a car. We need something around us which gives me the surroundings. I can maneuver maybe remotely. I have an intelligent algorithm, and my Tesla is driving down the street, working very well. What has this to do with automation? So, with digitalization and with the vessel industry. So, here I show that's not something which I developed, that's something I steal on Wikipedia at the end of the day. Waves to be autonomous in the shipping industry, by the way. So there are different waves, development task, how to come to autonomous operation. First thing is remote supported. That's more or less today. Again, I repeat, we have this solution. You can use it in the foyer. You can play around. So remote support via HoloLens or via remote desktop connections or via telephone or via phone. It's also possible. Remote support, and it's not a deal anymore. Palim. Your notebook makes Palim. Okay, next step is remote controlled. Okay? Keep simple. There is a vessel. Put a camera in front. interface your levers and your steering wheel, take a small remote controller, and then we can drive the vessel remotely. At the end of the day, I think something has to be developed for the marine industry, but I think it's also not real a big deal. Now it comes to be a little bit complicated. Remote control with reduced human influence. Nice wording. What does this mean? This means in the end of the day, there is an operator remotely who says a vessel, okay, go from here to there, small steps, and the vessel follows the instructions. Next thing, and I think the evolution here is also not so big, is remote controlled plus autopilot. I think most of the big ocean-going vessels has an autopilot on board, so that you enter your course, cross the fingers, and hope that the vessel keep on track. To influence the autopilot from remote with remote interactions, I think you can agree, also no magic. And last but not least, if you have all these steps going through, the end of the day is then the real autonomous operation, sitting in the headquarters, put in a command line, and my vessel A has to go from Hamburg to Los Angeles and push enter. Then there is a clever algorithm, a little bit route optimization from Chartword, compared with a little bit machinery optimization from Siemens. With no E-log anymore from Ration, sorry. And then the vessel is sailing from Hamburg to where we would like to go? Los Angeles. Singapore, also good, to Singapore. Great. What we talk about the last 5 minutes is how to operate a vessel. So I've never said the word, okay, what is with the engine? What is with the installation of the vessel? What is with the technical equipment? And that's exactly what I see as well in the industry around us. Yeah, that's nothing rocket science anymore. We can do that. Same like a Tesla car, but with a small difference. If my Tesla car has a problem with the motor, the car stops. If it is a good Tesla car, it stops on the parking slot. If not, okay, it's in the middle of the street. But anyhow, no, there is no problem. The car stops. What has happened with the vessel? Well, it stops also. But then you have a small problem. Maybe you lost your vessel, or you have to search your vessel. I don't know. But in the end of the day, what I would like to mention here, for me, an autonomous vessel is nothing which I see here out of the window. And no vessel which is laying in the harbor of Hamburg or sailing around the world mostly are able to be completely driven autonomous. The huge thing is the vessel has to survive a week, 2 weeks without human interaction. It's not the navigational part, I think that's handleable, but the machinery. Think about what your crew is doing day by day on board on a vessel. Running around, fix some smaller problems, etc., etc. And to bridge the gap, it's maybe good to have tools available which explain or which detect that your vessel is really able to survive 1 or 2 weeks without human interaction. So predictive maintenance, also some really stupid thing, but I never heard, fuel monitoring. Did you have enough fuel on board? Because there's no people on board who can tell you, okay, I have enough fuel, we can do it. You have to be really sure that fuel is in a certain amount available on board. And last but not least, the overarching end question is a combustion engine the real thing to drive autonomous from A to B, or did we need other propulsion systems? I got the sign. Ready? Thank you.
Ready? Well done. I told you 2 minutes more. You did it within 20 seconds. Perfect.
Ah, you mean minute? Sorry.
Perfect. Yeah, and it was very clever of you because I don't know if it was my mistake or yours, but however, the presentation you used to show was another one which was shown to me before. However.
Oh, cool, huh? Then you learn as well something new. Maybe this is the presentation of the morning, sir.
Perfect. Okay, which brings me up to the questions from the auditory. Are there any questions? Yeah?
Do you have any time frame? What do you see the autonomous vessels will come in? There are some in Norway and so on, but do you see in whole for the industry some time frame, the next 100 years, 200 years, or 50 years?
So not in my profession. You can try to imagine how old I am and how long I have to work, but I think
Same like me.
more than 20 to 50 years. Again, the major problem is not the driving part of the vessel. You have to construct new vessels. You cannot upgrade the given vessels with some features and then you have an autonomous vessel. I think that will be not working. So therefore, it takes longer time. And then you can imagine how long does it take to renew an entire worldwide fleet with new vessels. And the magic next question, why?
Yeah, I need to know also for my retirement, that's why I'm asking.
Yeah, it's doable today, but it's also a real question, and I have not a real good answer to that. Why we would like to drive a vessel autonomous? What is the driver for the industry? There is something which we can discuss.
I can tell you maybe there's high crew costs which are involved in shipping still. And that's a major part of the cost, of the daily cost for the shipping for the owners.
Yeah, correct. And of course, I think the cost and the availability of a crew. Who qualified person will sail on board on vessels?
If you come to Malo, you will have qualified crew.
That's good.
Okay.
Okay. Very interesting, because you answered my question in the same run as well.
Sorry.
All right. Any more questions?
Your answer is, I don't know whether really satisfying. Crew cost. What is even more expensive is the daily cost of the vessel, with or without crew, and the downtime in shipyards, etc. So, what do you think about manning autonomous vessels with a maintenance crew, so that they will always work in the engine and keep the maintenance, the downtime in the shipyard low, and this will be even more beneficial for the owner. Thank you.
Correct. But in the end of the day, then the meaning is that you need as well new vessels, because nowadays your vessel needs the dry dock periods to repair properly. If we could avoid with new designed vessels such problem, yes. But then the next question is, how many people are maintenance related of your crew, and how many people are navigation related of your crew? I think, I'm not 100% sure, but on a container vessel, I think Let shoot a figure, 25 people on board, 5 for navigation, 24 for maintenance, machinery, deck cleaning, cargo handling.
Yes, whatever.
Whatever. And the cook.
Is this what you have been talking about as well? The maintenance crew, or have you been talking only about the navigation crew? Both of it?
You know, this is the point. You need the maintenance crew who now we have this old type of propulsion, filter cleaning, separator, fuel, all that stuff. And if you change maybe this to other electronics, I don't know, and you can reduce the maintenance, and you can sail the vessel safe without storm, which is maybe not possible, but then you see some, future in this. But you have to change a little bit also the way of thinking for shipping in this respect to reduce this old type of diesel engines or something.
Yeah, that's exactly. That's the reason why I said with the vessels we have here around us, it's impossible to operate them really autonomous. Thank you for that.
Okay, perfect. I think, are there any more questions? Or maybe we can do the questions later on, because I have to look to my watch and I think we have to go on a bit. So if there is a very important question, we will do it right now. Otherwise, last question? Any last question? No. Okay, good. Yeah, Patrick, thank you very much.
Thank you, it was a pleasure.